thing about the college newspaper is we treated it kind of like a family. I had a fantastic assistant, Carol Ziem, and it was both of our philosophies that we wanted to be part of something that was outstanding and excellent, because that's what we felt the college really appreciated. And so we had a lot of really great students. We recruited. That was a neat thing. In high school, you just got the students you got. Here, it was like football. You know, I could recruit students. And so we recruited some really good students, and you know, within 2 years, we were winning some statewide and national recognition with the newspaper. And so the highlight for me were all the many editors, most of whom I stay in touch with in this new thing called Facebook. And I actually visited one of my very first editors, the editor in 1985, who lives in Cheyenne, and I went to visit him in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and he went downstairs and brought up every lariat that he had edited in 1985, and that was kind of neat. But anyway, some great students, too many to mention. All our editors were fantastic. And then, you know, after, I think when I quit the Lariat in 1984, we had won our second national pacemaker, which is the equivalent of the football team winning a national championship, except the football team doesn't have to play other colleges around the nation, but our newspapers were evaluated against other newspapers. And then we were the second community college in the nation inducted into the Associated Collegiate Press National Hall of Fame that year. So that was kind of a great culmination, one of the great things that I remember and cherish, building the program to that particular status.
Well, actually, I have a favorite one for classified. It was Beth Brokaw was our division secretary in math science. And they had just gotten a Macintosh computer, one of the old original 128K Macs. And they were trying to arrange it, but they didn't want to unplug anything. So I get a call going, could you come up and help? The computer is sitting on the table, the keyboard shoved up to one side, the mouse is shoved up to the other, and the power cord was wrapped around it. They'd moved it so much they couldn't move it anymore. So that was kind of, so I just unplugged everything, move it where you want it. Since I was in computer repair, I actually hit pretty much every division office, every department. So to me, the college was very social. It's like a very extended family of friends. And it's nice to help people. I always tried to have a good attitude. So the challenges that I would think originally, I can remember when I first came here, we had a very odd budget process. So we would have, and like I said, in the chemistry department, I'd have to pick very carefully what I asked for. And so I tried to make a plan of, budgeting, doing a lot of repairs myself. Whereas now it seems with the change in the basic aid funding, where the district and the board has decided to actually spend the money, it seems like we're getting a lot more equipment and technology. So it's a little freer and flows a little better. So to me, that's a good thing. We're replacing a lot of aged network equipment. So from an infrastructure standpoint, the college is really trying to meet the technology needs. One of my favorite classified Senate accomplishments when I was president was campus police went to hangars for the parking decals. And I put mine on the back of my car, but they were paper, it faded, and I got a parking ticket. So I went in to campus police, I go, look, it's here, you can see it, it's just faded. And so they're going, well, no, didn't want to deal with it, but they took care of my ticket. So I went to Sophie Miller, said, could you get this on the President's Council agenda about parking permits? And interestingly enough, 3 weeks later, Cloyce Kelly shows up and says, how's this new Klingon plastic permit look? And so that's one accomplishment I feel I got done, where it was, we now have the little Klingon plastic permits because we got to President's Council. They said, how about, what's your issue? And I said, it's all taken care of. Goodbye. But it's good for the classified to have a voice, as along with the academic senate. I mean, it's shared governance, I do think, though, has taken a decline. It seems like it's my version of shared governance is they decide what to do and share it with us. because it seems like a lot of decisions are made without input from the Senates and the CSEA.
Well, the biggest challenge Saddleback College has is leadership. We need someone that has a vision, that can get the campus behind that vision, and to consolidate and create a learning environment for our students that people want to come here, not because they have to come here. In California, it's just like in any other business: location, location, location. And so our students who come from the surrounding high schools are here. They don't drive somewhere else to go to school simply because it's here. I think the image of Saddleback College is not known in South Orange County. And I kind of blame that on the city of Mission Viejo and others. I would love to see, as you drive onto campus, Saddleback College, and then underneath at Mission Viejo. On the signs that are out there as you're coming into Mission Viejo, it should say Mission Viejo, home of Saddleback College. Because we generate not only a huge resource for the community, but millions of dollars that goes back into our economy. So the big challenge is to get our name out there in a community that changes a lot. On the street that I live on, there's probably 30 houses. At least a third, maybe more, people have moved in and out. They're from all over the world, all over the United States. They don't know about Saddleback College. If you lived here all your life, you might know about it. If you're involved, your kids are involved in sports or in schools, you may have heard about it. But that's not the majority of the people who live in South County. So that's the big thing, getting the college to be recognized. Well, one of the big challenges was, when I came here, was the issue of what to do at Tustin with ATEP. That particular site at that time, Don Goodwin, who I knew previously in my moving around and actually worked for, was here, which I didn't know. I went up and visited that site. And at Tustin, there was a bunch of old buildings, that sort of thing. His explanation was he was going to try to help the district turn it into a center like it did at Lowry up in Colorado. He took that on as a project and was very successful. They couldn't get the land. He was here for about 3 years, and his wages plus others plus all of the things were put in there. The money that we've put in, conservatively right now, is probably $60 million the district has put into that ATEP site. We've done land swaps, we've built a little piece of it up, we've been working, we've been paying people to develop plans, and what do we have to show for it? And the answer to that is more debt. We have to fix the land that we now have by removing the utilities. We have to put a road in, we have to build buildings, and I, in the last 13 years, have not seen one iota of benefit to students at Saddleback College or to the college itself. So I feel that we have, in essence, wasted the taxpayers' money by keeping that site on the vision. Now, maybe in 20 years it'll have some sort of goal, but at this point, that has not happened. And all I can say is that I hope that people realize that and come up with a purpose for that. That's a huge challenge for the district. For the college, that $60 million could have been put into our facilities and made this a showcase. It could have helped us with instructional support. It could have helped us with equipment for technology and that sort of thing. And so the decision was made by the board to put that money elsewhere. I have talked against that decision since it was there. I'm one voice.
Human Services is a rather unique department. Our largest program for a certificate at 28 units is our Alcohol and Drug Studies program. In some of the classes more oriented toward drug knowledge, between 50 and 60% of my students are going to be recovering addicts and alcoholics, sometimes the combination of those. So in terms of feeling wonderful about having that opportunity, these are people who have, most of them have built up some clean time. And the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, the 12th step is essentially to give back in gratitude to the community. And therefore, quite a few of our students want to go back to school. Many of them did quite poorly, thinking that they weren't quality, intelligent individuals. And the transformation that myself and other teachers in human services see are rather remarkable. A student by the name of Andy, who was in a drug rehab program that we contracted with to have them come take some of our classes, he was one of those people. And there was also a lady in that class who is currently in that same program. The thing I really noticed about Andy was he never smiled. His answers were intelligent, his interest was avid, but no smiling. And I asked him one day at a break during the semester why that was. Possibly my jokes weren't nearly as funny as I thought they were. And he showed me his teeth, and he had been a methamphetamine user. And one of the consequences of doing methamphetamine for a long period of time was something called meth mouth. And it basically means you're going to have terrible dental caries and cavities and losing teeth. So that's why he didn't. He continued in the program, got his certificate, and then raised up enough money so he could have a significant amount of dental work done. And he showed up in another one of my classes with the most beatific smile. And it was not only with his clean time building up, but how he felt about himself. Self-esteem being such a large issue. The female I mentioned earlier, his name was Sharon. And they fell in love while in the program, which generally can not be a positive thing. But a couple of years later, after they had moved on to Cal State Fullerton and received their bachelor's degrees, they got married and will periodically keep in touch with me via email. So that was a wonderful thing.
Where should I start? A favorite student, and I don't remember her name, made a gorgeous felt red swan about this big and a baby swan to give me at the end of the course. And she said that when she had come here, she had felt like an ugly duckling, but I made her feel like a swan. And she wanted to thank me. So that's a favorite student. Some stories. Gosh. All of our classes were down here on the lower campus. The BGS building had not been built. So we would find snakes in our classroom. One teacher opened her desk drawer and there was a raccoon in the drawer. We had possums, we had everything all over campus. When we built the BGS building, we even almost stepped on a rattlesnake going up the hill to see the progress. Marley Bergerud had become our dean, and she was incredible. Our CIM, Computer Information Management Department, was one of the best in the country. And we had people coming from all over the country to see our program, because I would have 120 people in every word processing class because they could get a job as a word processor. Times have changed. Students now grow up with computers. They're not so interested in taking computer classes. So our department has certainly declined, which I'm sad about. And I wouldn't give any blame to any particular reason or person, but there were some people involved. I was privileged to be president of the Academic Senate one year, and it's the only time a faculty member from the Business Science Division has ever been Academic Senate president. Don't quite know why. But that was the year we had controversy with the Board of Trustees. And at every meeting, which I had to attend, there would be protesters out in front of the building, walking with placards. We had to hire extra police to come. We had television crews from Los Angeles every month to see everything that was going on. The Anti-Defamation League was here. So that was a very trying year in the Academic Senate. Things have certainly gotten better. I encourage anyone to participate in trying to make decisions for the college, for the faculty.